please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank everybody for coming out tonight. Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Cook?
Here.
Mr. D'Andriano?
Here.
Mr. Rogan?
Here.
Ms. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Williams?
Here. First on tonight's agenda is a public hearing on amendments to Chapter 116, Putnam Lake Park District. Counselor, could you read the public notice?
Yes, public notice is hereby given that there has been introduced before the Town Board of the Town of Patterson, New York, on May 25th, 2022, an amendment to Patterson Town Code Chapter 116 entitled Putnam Lake Park District, which amendment will revise Chapter 116 with regards to the rules and regulations of the Putnam Lake Park District. Now therefore, pursuant to Section 20 of the Municipal Home Rule Law, the Town Board of the Town of Patterson, New York, will hold a public hearing on the aforesaid amendment at the town offices, 1142 Route 311, Patterson, New York, on June 8, 2022, at 7:00 p.m. in the evening of that day, or as soon thereafter as may be held, at which time all persons interested therein shall be heard. The Town Board will make every effort to assure that the hearing is accessible to persons with disabilities. Anyone requiring special assistance and/or reasonable accommodation should contact the town clerk.
Thank you. I would ask that anybody here tonight at the meeting hall, if you have any comments or questions on this local law, if you would approach the mic, give your name and address for the record, and we'll do our best. Hearing none, we'll turn to those joining us by Zoom. If there's anybody here by Zoom who has any questions or comments on this local law, if you would unmute and give your name and address and state your question.
There are two people on there, they're not unmuting.
Okay. Does any town board member have any question on this local law? Anyone at all? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, would somebody like to make a motion on the reports?
I'd like to make a motion to accept and approve the following reports: code compliance for May 2022, code enforcement for May 2022, dog control officers for May 2022, ESI for May 2022, and the Patterson Recreation for May 2022. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Somebody like to make a motion on the supervisor's reports for February and March?
I'd like to make the motion to accept and approve the supervisor's reports for February and March of 2022. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next up is the minutes.
I guess I can make a motion to approve the town board meeting minutes of May 11th, 2022. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And last, we do have a budget transfer. Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, jump the order of the bills,
I'll
sorry.
make a motion to approve abstract number 10 dated May 27th, 2022 in the amount of $466,280.48. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And now we are up to budget transfer.
Okay. We have budget transfer number 11 for the year 2022. And that budget transfer is requested to reallocate funds for the highway's old salt shed roof to be charged to the snow removal capital account. So we're moving $7,767 from machinery, equipment, and capital outlay to $7,767 to the snow removal equipment and capital outlay expense account. I'll make a motion that the town board approve budget transfer request number 11. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, first up is local law number 2. This is the local law we just had the public hearing on, which again amends chapter 116. It is a local law that we have been working on with the Park Advisory. We're going to take a short recess.
Supervisor? So, stop the recording.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a local law we've been working on for quite some time now with the Park Advisory.
They're triple A's.
But
Yeah.
they're rechargeable.
It's in the case and
They wear
it keeps doing that. It's the small one.
Roll the Jeopardy music.
Sue, if you go into the planning department office behind Sarah's desk, in the cubby hole, there should be another machine, I would think. I think that's where she kept it. She used to keep it there. Well, again, you plug it in, it shouldn't need batteries.
That's what this base is supposed to be for. And it's plugged in.
Is it plugged in over here?
Yeah.
Paul, we want you to roll the Jeopardy.
Completely dead. All the bars are bad too. It's on again.
It's on again?
Oh, wait a minute. There it goes. Yeah,
We're good?
Till the beeps.
I don't know for how long, but it's good now.
You want to try to do this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so, local law number 2, which amends chapter 116, is something the town board has been working on for quite some time with the Park Advisory Board. Nothing? There are a number of revisions to this, to the requirements out there, a lot of clarification, so without objection, I will introduce local law number 2 of 2022 and ask that it be entered into the record as though read it in its entirety. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Again, the next thing on my agenda is an agreement between the Patterson Food Mart, which everybody knows as the mobile gas station out at the corner of 311. They have a failed septic system out there. We've been working for quite some time in trying to get a design which works, which they can hook into the town's sewer plant. I believe we are there, and hopefully at the next meeting, we will be starting the process for their petition to place them in the district. But the immediate issue is the development agreement, which provides the parameters for their being included in the district, as well as their paying for the town costs for doing that. We have a resolution. And I would like to ask that,
Rich, can you pull your mic a little closer? Not picking you up too well. Thanks, sorry.
so I would ask that this resolution for an agreement for the extension of the Patterson Hamlet, yep, sewage, typo, sorry, sewage collection system. I'd like to introduce this reso, ask that it be read as it's in its entirety into the record.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I have one more thing to add to my agenda, and that's an executive session, which I will defer to the end of the meeting.
Okay. First item on my agenda is a recreation center request. We have a memo here from Mr. Machibaro. We did not receive any applicants for the full-time recreation assistant position, which was vacated by Chris in March. However, we did receive an interest in the position as a part-time senior recreation leader. The full-time senior recreation leader has been vacant basically since Veronica had accepted a position elsewhere. And I understand that Matt's recommendation comes to us very strongly as for Jared Kozinski. He has a lot of experience. He worked for the town of Kent full-time, heading off all of their programs, and is now currently working also in Kent, Connecticut. Matt would like to give him $30 per hour. His knowledge and experience, his a proven track record, is worth at least the $30 an hour, and we're expecting a good turn back on those funds with him kicking off a lot of new programs into the recreation department and assisting Matt with that. So I have a resolution here to authorize the hiring of the senior recreation leader as a part-time basis at the rate of $30 per hour, pending that all of his completion of all background searches and compliance with all requirements of the Town of Patterson Employee Handbook. So I'd like to make a motion to enter this resolution hiring Jared Kozinski as a part-time senior recreation leader at the rate of $30 per hour, and enter this into the record as though read. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The second item is a building department request. We recently were approached by an employee of the building department that would like to change her duties, and also with that, us taking the duties away, we will be reducing the salary, and we've come to an agreement with this employee so that we could just basically make her work day a little bit easier for her. She was taking on a lot. She just recently had a baby, and she'd like to spend some more time at home. And so we did come to an agreement that we would be taking some of the zoning duties away from the employee in the building department. So I do have a resolution here.
Sorry, Mary, you cut out for some reason. I don't know what's going on with the audio.
I don't know, we're having a lot of technical difficulties today.
Yeah.
So I do have a resolution here approving the amendment of the duties and responsibilities of Miss Mary Schwarto in the building department. The town board of the town of Patterson had approved to increase Mary's salary to $55,000 as of January 1st, 2022, but based on her agreeing to assume additional duties and responsibilities for the town of Patterson Building Department and Zoning Board of Appeals. So since then, we've reduced the duties, and we have affected the salary by $2,500. So I'd like to make a motion to enter this resolution into the record as though read per the Labor Council's review and approval on the agreement that we are making with this employee. So moved.
Second, but just one comment, we have to put an effective date.
Yes, we do.
I would say July 1st.
She's actually asked to have it now.
So you want to use the effective date of today's date?
Well, I'd rather do it on a Sunday that starts the pay week, so either the June 6th or June 12th. What would you prefer?
How does that work with your review and approval?
Well, it's all subject to,
Yeah, to Labor Council, but I think either would work. I do agree that it's better to have it effective on a payroll week, that way you can make the corresponding salary
Correct.
change.
12th.
all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, did you put in the Labor Council?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. Never mind.
She did.
Okay, Peter.
All right, first I have is the mutual aid agreement. So we were presented with a updated mutual aid plan. This revised revision supersedes all Putnam County mutual aid plans and their associated documents. This was revised back in 2020, so this affects our two fire departments and our EMS. So we have, the fire departments haven't stated any issues with this, have they? Or we heard from the fire department?
We have
at all?
not heard from the fire departments.
And our council has looked this over?
Yes,
And it looks good? Nothing?
yes, nothing concerning,
Yeah, it's
so
pretty,
long as Bobby, Kearns, and, you know, the fire departments don't address any issues with it. But it does give you the opportunity to terminate it if you do have any concerns.
Yeah, I just want to add in here that the fire departments will also have to do their own individual resolutions if they're going to participate. Our resolutions are just allowing them to do that.
okay, good. Okay, so with that said, I have a couple resolutions. So the first resolution is with the Patterson Fire Department to participate in the Putnam County Mutual Aid Plan. So I'd like to enter it into the record as read, so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next is the same with the Putt Lake Fire Department to participate in the plan. I'd like to enter this resolution as read, so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then the third is for the town of Patterson EMS to participate in the Putnam County Mutual Aid Plan. So I'd like to enter this into the record as read, so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the next I have some EMS requests. So we have several EMTs that have been with us that were hired provisionally pursuant to completing all civil service requirements, background checks and whatnot. So we have several of them that have completed these requirements and are ready to be hired for a permanent part-time EMT. So I'd like to first enter the resolution to hire Ariana Enzano as permanent part-time EMT and enter that resolution into the record as read. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, I'd like to enter the resolution as read for Caitlin Kelleher to be hired for a permanent part-time EMT. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, I'd like to enter the resolution to hire Emily Abatana-Tolono.
You did very well.
Is that good, Charlie? And enter that resolution as read. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
This one's easier. I'd like to also, so next, I'd like to make a motion to enter the resolution to hire Tyler Martin as permanent part-time EMT into the record as read. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. And that is it.
All right.
Thank you.
Serious.
Next, we have a resolution relative to releasing a performance bond for John and Cheryl Fulchetti. Whereas John Fulchetti proposed certain driveway improvements requiring the posting of a cash performance bond to ensure their completion, the amount of $1,500, and this work has not been done. So what we're going to resolve here is that the town board of Patterson hereby releases the performance bond submitted by John and Cheryl Fulchetti upon receipt of a cash performance bond submitted by the new property owner, Henry Biggs. So I'll make a motion that the town board approve the resolution releasing the performance bond of John and Cheryl Fulchetti and upon waiting on the new property owner, Henry Biggs, to submit a performance bond. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Next, we have Miss Kristen McConnell has expressed interest in joining the Veterans Memorial Park Advisory Board, which we're very happy about. So I will make a motion that the town board approve Kristen McConnell as a new member to the Veterans Memorial Park Advisory Board. So moved.
Second.
To fill, do we know the unexpired term? To fill an unexpired term to be determined.
To fulfill an unexpired term to be decided.
Forget to
So
do
moved.
that, I apologize.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
These should be a great addition to the park.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All set, Charles? Charlie, you all set?
Good.
Okay. Okay, next item we have is a request from our Justice Court. This relates essentially to the staffing of the court officers. We're going to actually discuss this morning executive session, but it relates to a concern about staffing the justice court officers and what a plan that we're going to consider moving forward to just make sure that we have proper coverage over at the court. So I'll move that to executive session. And the next item from the Department of Code Enforcement is a request for a refund of an application. This was essentially for 396 Haviland Drive, where they had applied to the building department for a building permit in order to legalize work that had already begun construction and continue with a patio covering attached to the dwelling. They were sent to the ZBA by the building department. The owner decided not to pursue the project, rescind that application. So with the support of the Department of Code Enforcement, we're looking to refund the amount of $225, which is the total amount paid for the permit and a C of O minus the application fee. So I'll make a motion that we refund the $225 to Yelma Belinas at 396 Haviland Drive. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, I would ask at this time if any town board member has any other business they wish to bring up before the board.
Yes, we have one late arrival, non-bid procurement request form from, trouble making out the signature here, but I think it's Rich Williams. But anyhow, for one 5-drawer filing cabinet, Mr. Williams received 2 quotes.
Well, it's for the planning department. The staff of the planning department received 2 quotes.
Okay, what have you? So the low quote was from Furniture Pro Corporation for an amount of $1,226.81. So I'll make a motion that the town board approve the quote from Furniture Pro Corporation not to exceed $1,226.81. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. They have room for that?
Well, no. We're gonna have to figure that one out. But they are out of space again, trust me. There are cabinets we cannot get anything in, and we've been purging the files. So, you know, when we did this building back in 2001, 2002, we were sure this was gonna take us well into the future. Everybody's out of space already. It's amazing.
Back to the future.
Yes. Anybody else have any other business? Hearing none, we'll open it up to public recognition. Does any member of the audience here tonight wish to address the board on any topic? Scott?
Good evening all, hope you're well. Scott Stevens, Booster Board of Ed. Sorry we missed the last meeting. We had a word ceremony that night, but I just wanted to come out and thank Patterson community for supporting the budget and the 2 propositions. So now we're able to continue the process of staffing the schools, getting things ready, new buses, so our fleet is safer, and to set up for the contingencies of the future by having a construction reserve account that's set up. That we'll be able to hopefully use when we go to bond in the future with improvements to the school. Once again, thanks to the community and thanks to the board for your work on our behalf. If there's anything we can do, please let us know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Scott, I just want to add that, you know, I've been coming to town board meetings since 1990. And in all my years here, you were the only school board member in both school districts that involve Patterson that has actually come to a town board meeting to keep us in the loop about what's going on in the school district. I think it was very unfortunate that you were not reelected to the school board. You certainly had my support. And I will miss you, but I do thank you for all you've done for our community, and you're coming in, you know, to the town board meetings, taking your time in the evening and keeping us abreast of what's going on. So thank you.
Thank you. I'll be
Thank
sure to
you.
yell for
Yes.
and try to get people to come up again.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good evening, Bruce Major, 166 Somerset. I had the pleasure of going to the last planning board meeting. I was really there for the hotel, but I learned in reference to the growing of marijuana in a building on Route 22. Now, as you can imagine, I'm opposed to all intoxicants based on my background. state of New York passed a law. That law says we can grow and we can sell. The sales, they allowed the towns to make a decision whether they would allow retail sales within their community. I am thrilled that you selected not to have sale of marijuana. My concern, however, is listening to the planning board, is that the board has indicated that growing marijuana is not farming. I don't want to ask any of you what research you did, but I took a little time, 15 minutes maybe, to look into it myself. In Tennessee, there's an old bread factory. Tilapia is on the ground floor level. The waste, the water waste, and the animal waste is actually used to grow herbs and lettuces. It's doing very well. In Hudson, New York, we have a place called, I believe it's Silvertail Trout, that's supplying trout for this entire region, all indoors. Forbes magazine said in 2016, indoor farming was a $22 billion business. This year, 2022, they estimate it as a $40 billion enterprise. I would hope that you will rethink your position as to farming, because clearly, if the applicant takes you to court, you're going to lose. For two reasons. One, it's established that it is farming. And two, unfortunately, we have a master plan, a 10-year master plan that is 20 years old, which hasn't been brought up to date. So I would hope that you would rethink your position. Let that project make it or fail based on the topography of that site. If that site can handle it, then it should pass. If that site can't handle it, it should fail. But the issue of farming, I think, I don't know how much thought went into the process when you made that decision, but I'm going to send you in a few minutes an email that'll show you just the three things that I found. I spent another half hour, and there are many examples of indoor farming. I'm not talking about greenhouses. I'm talking about inside buildings and how efficient they are. So I really would hope that you would rethink that position. It may give clarity to the planning board so they can move forward and look at this project the way they should be looking at the project. Thank you very much.
I don't think this board has made that decision
No.
as a board, that it's not farming. I know I didn't.
Unfortunately, then you should take the time to speak to your planning board, because that's exactly what was said. That the planning board, that the town board was opposed to building as being farming.
So,
That's what they said.
Mr. Major, I was
You were
also,
at the meeting.
I was at the meeting. I know there's a lot of confusion because, you know, again, this is something that was never contemplated by the master plan or our zoning. This is something at the time we made all those rules that it was not legal. And so there may be a little confusion around, you know, the issue. But, you know, at the planning board meeting, as you know, I've encouraged the planning board members, especially the chairman, to meet with the town attorney and have that discussion with the town attorney. And if at the end of the day, there is some confusion about whether it is or is not farming, then that falls to the responsibility of the ZBA to make that interpretation. The only question, you know, before this, that might end up before this board, is if they ever felt the need to amend the zoning, then we would have that discussion. But I do not believe that this board is looking to amend the zoning in any way, shape, or form for or against this project. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I trust our planning board, and I trust the members of our zoning board, and I trust they will do the right thing for this community. They, you know, they have a lot of, we have a lot of good people who are thoughtful, and, you know, but this is gonna be an interesting process, because this is not something anybody ever thought, you know, 5 years ago would be in Patterson. Whoever dreamed that New York would legalize marijuana? So,
I agree with a lot of things you said, and I think if people feel like you, I think they need to go to the planning board meetings and zoning board meetings and state how they feel.
anyone else? Mary? No? Hearing none, I will turn to the members of the public who are joining us via Zoom. If anybody has any comments or questions they would like to address to the board, if you would unmute, give your name and address.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
Okay.
Well, thank you for that.
Yes.
Hearing no comments, if I could get a motion to go into executive session?
Motion to go into executive session.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.